both supposed to help you generate content and learn how to generate content using vibe coding solutions, and then how to grow your social media channel using automated commenting. However, I just saw his thumbs up. One thing I do need to always state every time we're working on the automated comment generator, as Jean-Marc pointed out last time, and I brought up in some of our previous calls, this is not it's legal, I'll say. It is not totally by the book. If you do a terrible job and you overuse an automated commenter on a lot of social media platforms, you will get your gray zone. Exactly. This isn't black hat. This is more like gray hat. You will get banned. And it really is up to you to use it responsibly. And it's not even just that you will get banned. If you use it irresponsibly, even if you're not getting banned, it's not going to do for you what you want, right? So one of the ways to use it irresponsibly is to, instead of commenting 10 to 20 to 30, and instead of growing a little bit more organically, right off the bat, you just do 500 comments a day. Something like that will get you flagged. That is going to show up as I don't know what you call it, irregularity or something that looks wrong, and you might not get banned right off the bat immediately, or you might get a warning, and then we'll see where that goes. But as I said, I used it successfully for months. I did have it be somewhat conservative, and what I would do is I put it on a timer, and then it would just check in 3 to 5 times a day, and do the whole process would end up taking 20 minutes, I think, each time it ran. And so it was a little bit slow, right? It was taking its time while I was doing everything. And then it was adding, random movements in the keying or in the mouse movements. So it's another thing, right? So it's if when you're putting in your content, so you're commenting, right? And there's, say, 50 words in your comment. That's another thing, having variability in your word count when you're commenting. If all 50 words just show up immediately in the comment area instead of being typed out seemingly one letter at a time, that's another problem, right? And so we'll go over, I think, if you were here for when we started that project, Claude immediately warned us about it and told us, well, you're not supposed to do this. But if you are going to do it, here are the techniques to use to make it right. Okay. And then, so let's do, we do have some new people on the call, or people who are newish that were on a flight to Denver. So we'll start with Adam at the top. Adam, so I know you're moving to Denver, but what brought you to AI Profit Boardroom? What AI workflows or aspects of AI tools are you interested in?
I think the biggest thing for me is, you were talking about on the call last time about trying out the object syndrome. So I built 4 AI-assisted desktops so far. And so I'm looking for, what are the smarter ways to do this, better ways to share these things with clients? What are they actually buying? Anything like that, because the world is there's everything available right now, but having that be more focused for what people actually want, that's what drew me to this.
Yeah. And I do think that, I've said this before, and if you're on the last call, what I really like about these coaching calls in the community is that you are getting recommendations from people who are actually using these tools, which is very different than a recommendation from the company itself telling you should use the tools. A lot of these AI companies, I'd say almost universally overpromise and underdeliver. Some of them are delivering on some of these promises, I think, more lately. I would say 90% of them are overpromising and underdelivering on what is possible with their tools. And then, as you're saying, it is all just a very shiny object syndrome world out there, and look what you really just idea, look what you can do with AI. And it's oh, okay, sure, you can do that with AI. I don't really want to do that with AI, but you did a good job of selling me on the idea that I should do this with AI. And so I think that it is really important to figure out what is actually increasing your productivity and what is just, as I was saying, are you becoming an AI hobbyist or are you becoming an AI producer? And starting off as an AI hobbyist is not bad, right? But and even if you're doing that for, it sounds like a long time, a year or two, not the worst thing. But at some point, if you want this to generate income for you, you do need to become an AI producer. And yeah, I would say that, like, really, when it comes down to it, for a lot of this stuff, ChatGPT and Claude, the LLM interfaces really are really useful for being more productive. At least I found that. Like, if I want to generate a report or engagement letter or anything like that, I still use those, and they're really good. From there, being able to batch process things, then you're getting a little bit more complicated and you need an A-to-N. But some of this other stuff, I think is either hit or miss, or you have to do it in a more complicated way, right? So for instance, a lot of people are interested in AI voice agents, right? So like a customer service rep that you can talk to, a sales agent of some sort, a receptionist. And those are, I guess they're, what would you say? Like they can be really useful. They can save a lot of time. You have to do them right, right? And so there's probably, and we all have experienced this. There are probably most AI voice agents are not very good. And so, sure, you can, and I think that lesson sort of applies. Sure, there is an AI solution for this. It's either going to be difficult to implement it well, or you're going to have trade-offs when you're utilizing it at this point in time, right? But things like AI image generation for a long time was more of a hobbyist type of thing because of the limitations on AI image generation. It wasn't doing text very well. It wouldn't allow you to put in specific people or logos or things like that without using complex LoRa's and really, being very technical. Now with Nano Banana and ChatGPT's image generator, if you are looking to generate good images that make sense for your brand and for your products, that's now way more possible. And so I think if you look at that sort of timeline on things in that development process, a lot of the other AI systems are probably going to go along. The one thing I am interested in, and I'm sorry, I'm probably going off on a bunch of tangents based on what Adam said, in 2024 was the year of RAG. And then 2022, 2023 was probably the year of LLM, something around there. One of them was like probably the year of LLM, one of them was image generation. And then last year was agents. The concept of agents was the big topic in 2025. And then, with the offshoot of MCP, for the people who are really, but the number of times people told me they were interested in MCP and they had no idea what an MCP was, and it was just like, yeah, I saw it on LinkedIn, was probably way more than anybody actually used an MCP. But then what's this year going to be, right? If we had RAG, then agents, what was 2026 going to bring us as far as that shiny new object that everybody's trying to implement, but is way more difficult than we realize? Apps, avatar, interesting. Why do you think that, Sean?
I follow several people who are very invested in AI moves and AI tendencies, and that was the key topics: agents, apps, and avatar. Because automation, it's a flagship of AI, but it's more complex than we say in marketing, because you have to custom solution for client, you have to update, to maintain. So it's not practical for everybody. But for example, apps, there's a lot of trend about that, micro apps, but you have to do it seriously, and to, as we told before, to be conscious that you have to maintain it. It's even you are a developer or you have to pay for the maintenance. And avatar, videos are good quality. Now it's also easy to clone your voice, so you match both. So you have a high productivity to, for example, to be different, to have differentiation. For example, in LinkedIn, every day maybe you can post a video, and nobody is able to do it because they don't have the technology, they don't know how to do it. So it's you can have advance from competitors with these subjects.
I wonder, and again, like if for AI avatar, we start to see it being used in different ways. They just had this tech conference of some sort. I forget what it's called. Maybe it's CES, something like that. But I was seeing the posts from there, and there's some company that is doing an AI buddy, essentially, where you have like an AI companion type of thing, and it's a physical like stand looking thing that creates a hologram of an AI companion. And then basically, again, like they're using AI avatar technology and then projecting it on a little screen. And then just, an LLM behind it, right? And so are we going to start to see more AI avatar, like now that you have the ability to just do that, right? Are we going to see these more often in more places? Like if you go to a website, are we going to have AI avatar customer service? Where that probably exists, right? I don't really run into that very often myself.
For your meetings, for your trainings, for tutorial, you have your own avatar. It's better than only have voiceover on the document. So I see some very good guy on YouTube. They have automated everything, and for example, Julian, on his video on YouTube, he has his avatar. So on production, it's very it's exponential results.
Yep. Okay. Let me try not to take up too much time just talking about crazy AI ideas, although I guess that's what we're here for. Javier, are you new to the coaching calls into AI Profit Boardroom? You can turn on your mic or drop something in the chat. Or if you're somewhere where you can't talk, it's all good. Okay, let me try one more. Rebel Joker, are you new to the coaching calls into AI Profit Boardroom? You can turn on your mic or throw something in the chat. 0 for 2. Well, I guess I'm 1 for 3 today so far. All right, and I think that's it. If anybody else is new and I don't recognize you, Dan Shirley, are you new to AI Profit Boardroom into the chat?
I'm a newbie.
Okay, what brought you here? What inspired you to join?
I sold roofer this idea to text him every day with an AI agent so that he would describe his day and what he accomplished, in order to make some content. And I need to figure out how to set that up because I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I put something in the main chat yesterday, and somebody suggested using N8N and gave me a brief little roadmap that I'm definitely going to check out. But I just hopped in here today because I was like, hey, I just want to see what the community vibe is, what I can learn, that kind of thing.
Okay, and so describe it again. So it's an AI assistant that reviews somebody's day with them, or
yeah, it's just going to text them and say, what did you accomplish today?
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm a contractor myself, and I'll use this myself and with my employees. I just don't have the bandwidth to. And if I get a text message and it's basically a reminder, right? Then I'll shoot a photo and a description, and I know an AI agent can create some content from that. So that's the plan. Hey, what's up, bud?
For sure. Cool. So N8N potentially is a solution for this. One of the things I keep on telling people is if you're going to use N8N, really N8N is great for something that you're going to be doing often, and you need to, the best use case for it is something where you are having it do a task 1,000 times in a day or 1,000 times in an hour, where it is automation, right? And so it is going to automate and do this thing over and over and over and over again. You can use it for all kinds of different things, and potentially for this use case where essentially what it would do is, depending on the number of people, I guess, that it is sending this message to, you could set a it can be initiated, or the workflow can be started with a clock, right? So essentially at 5 p.m. every day, it will connect to SMS, and it has a list of people and their phone numbers. You don't even really need AI to do the first portion, right? Where it's just like send out a message and say, what did you accomplish today? And then from there, it sends back the information, collects that information, and then puts it into an LLM with a prompt, and generates a response. And then from there, I don't know exactly what you want to do with the content, but I could see how you would do the initial portions of it via N8N. If you wanted to send this out to a large number of people, right? If it had to reach out to, say, 1,000 people in a day, that would make sense.
What do you think about like a Make or a Zapier for this kind of?
So, you can use any of them, right? I think that there is a solution, using Make, using Zapier, using N8N. N8N is, I think, the most robust solution and the most scalable. Think if you want to just do something that's like more for one person, or like you're not really trying to scale this and have this be something that like many people use, like tens of thousands of people use, then you might be fine with Zapier and Make. Really, I think N8N, and I guess it also is like, which one do you want to start getting comfortable with? Right? It's not that like if you start with N8N, that's the only one you're allowed to use, but using any of these is going to have a learning curve. And so which one do you want to start investing your time into learning? If you really are mostly planning on doing sort of smaller automations with AI that's a little bit more in-house and used for like a smaller team, then Make and Zapier are great. If you're really thinking about building larger scale projects, either now or in the future, then getting started with N8N is probably a great idea.
Awesome. I'm definitely going to go down that route at least to start, because I've tried Make and Zapier pretty successfully and have, been able to generate some revenue off of the work that I did. So, but, might as well expand. It sounds like N8N, if I can sell this to more people, I can use that same template with multiple accounts. Is that kind of what you're saying? Or it's easy?
Well, N8N is something that is meant to, it has like a lot of versatility in it, where the idea with N8N is that you could create an enterprise-based solution out of your N8N workflow, and that you could take it and containerize it and host it, and then 1 million people could use your N8N workflow. Potentially, right? But it's also a little bit more complicated and has like more bells and whistles, more ways of interacting with it. And although I do say that, like, I feel like if you are building something with N8N and you are going to actually end up scaling it that large, you may want to get a Python solution for it instead, because that's all of it is just based on a coding language, and then they have like a front end on it. And then if you are scaling it to that level, depending on how complex your workflow is, by that point in time, if you're actually generating money off of it and 1 million people are going to end up using it, just the cost that you're going to end up paying N8N, you could probably pay someone to just convert your N8N workflow to a code-based solution and save money on it at that point in time. And so I do think that, it just becomes like what you get comfortable with. But are any of these bad ideas, either Make or Zapier or N8N or Python vibe coded? No, it's just like really what you're comfortable with, and then like how, large of an audience do you want, right? So where Make and Zapier is probably smaller, and then N8N is bigger, and then Python vibe coded is as big as you want it to be.
Right. So, man, maybe I should just try to get the perfect prompt to try to one-shot it.
One shot's tough, but yeah. Well, at least here you'll see today. I'm going to go through some workflow stuff and see how well you like it. and how that how that looks to you, how easy it is to set stuff up in there.
Cool. So you're going to do like a demo?
I'm going to do a demo in like 5 minutes.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Then about how long are you online today? Just to like 11 or?
Well, so we're all in different time zones. This coaching call is going for another 35 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Okay. And then I just saw a couple new people drop in. I'll try at least one, and then, well, depending on if anybody answers. Bradley Johnson. No, hold on. I feel like maybe Bradley. I almost recognize that cowboy hat. If you're new, let us know. If not, and I've already seen that cowboy hat before, then all good. I'm not new. Let's see. Daniel Santiago. Are you new? You can turn on your mic or drop something in the chat. I might get through these pretty quickly. Kurt Yoder. Cool. All right, I'll try one more. Avid Roots and Joe something. Avid Roots, are you? Hi, yeah, hand up. You can turn on your mic if you want, or just put your hand up. Okay, and then Daniel Santiago is here twice. I see. And then maybe had his mic on.
Sorry, hi. Yes, I'm new. Just learning here.
What brought you to AI Profit Boardroom, to the coaching calls? What kind of AI are you interested in?
I started with ChatGPT, only ChatGPT, and then joined you guys, and I'm with integration with ChatGPT and Make.com. That's where I am right now.
Okay, interesting, cool. And then what are you trying to do with ChatGPT and Make?
So I created this Taylor personal trainer, so it tells me what to do every day and which weights and blah blah blah. But I was having difficulties. I have to tell him every week what I did last week. So now I'm putting that into a Google Sheet, and hopefully, well, not hopefully, I'm positive that it's gonna work. It's gonna grab what I did last week and tell me that's it.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So actually, and then we'll get to the NAA workflow. My girlfriend right now is using ChatGPT as her diet nutritionist, essentially. Like most women, she wants to lose weight, even though she really doesn't need to. But she doesn't listen to me about that at all. But like, she had ChatGPT set up a nutritional guideline for her, and then she talks to it throughout the day. And she'll be like, I'm hungry right now. What do you think I should eat? But then she has gotten a little bit, I guess, feisty, you would say, with ChatGPT, because she thinks that it's starving her. And she has gone from asking ChatGPT what to eat to telling ChatGPT, oh, I'm eating this right now. What do you think? Instead of asking for permission. So she's in a more asking for forgiveness from ChatGPT instead of permission. But yeah, it does have its limitations to it. I think that she's only been doing it for like a week since the new year started. I do think that like over time, the problem is it's not going to be able to track her data or do anything like that. But to at least get things off the ground. But I do see people using AI a little bit more for this, right, as that advisor. But it'll only work so long because it's not going to keep a great record of everything you're doing. Sounds like you have a cool project going. But with that, let's do a little bit of N8N. Okay. All right, Robo is recording. Great. So I'm going to share screen. Okay. So if you're not familiar, this is N8N. I just upgraded finally my latest version. If you're interested in upgrading, it's pretty simple. Go to admin panel, manage, and then it's right here. Although it should be different. That's crazy. I don't want to do that right now. Should be on 5 stable. Okay, now we're back again. N8N. So I thought that this morning I had got to the latest stable, but that's all. Theoretically, all you have to do is click on this and then do save changes, and it will restart your workspace. I don't know why mine didn't. I feel like it looks new anyway. Anyways, okay, and that's where you would do it. Then you can go back to your workflows, and then here you create a workflow. Part of the reason why you do want to update and you want to be on the paid version is you have this feature build with AI, and that's what we're going to be doing today. No matter what, even if you are a well-seasoned N8N developer builder, I would still suggest doing build with AI. It is going to save you an incredible amount of time and get things up and moving. And really get things started for you. Build with AI, like if you haven't seen this before, it's just like any other AI. It's pretty good, except not great. And so it will build your workflow for you. But I think universally, every time I've done it, there have been a couple of issues with it, but that's better than doing all that work from scratch, right? And I think that that is sort of the lesson with AI at all times, is that it is not perfect, but it is better than just doing it yourself all the time, right? And so we want to do a newsletter, and you're going to need to do when we do build with AI. So you get, and then this is the other thing. So you get 50 monthly credits with this. The month just flipped over for me, and so I have my 50 credits. I should start burning these a little bit more. When we were first doing this, I was using this like constantly and almost got down to the bottom. Well, I guess last month we didn't have Thursdays as much. And so we didn't have much end time, but I have a lot more I can start burning on this. But every time you basically type something into here and you click the arrow, you're using a credit. Yes, Daniel Santiago.
So I saw or heard in one of the videos that if you host this, it's free. So you're not hosted right now?
Is it hosted right now?
On a server, like if you put this on a server,
It's Claude version.
Yeah. So this isn't hosted right now. No.
Okay.
I can't host it. Yeah. I think maybe I might do a coaching call on containerizing your N8N and then hosting it. That might be one of the ones we do in the next month or two, just because I know that people are interested in that topic.
Cool.
Yep. All right. But yeah, so then you want to type in a prompt here. It used to be, this prompt to workflow solution is not that old, although time does fly. So I think it's been around for months, but for sure not a year. Yeah. And when it first started, there was a 1,000 character limit on your prompts. It does not have that limit anymore. So I used to, when I asked Claude for a prompt, would have to give it that instruction. I no longer need to do that. But I still think that it's, and this is what I call, or not what I call, this is called meta prompting. A lot of times when you want a really good solution or something done properly, you should do a well-defined prompt for what you're doing. However, creating a well-defined prompt takes a bunch of time. So instead of you creating that well-defined prompt, have your LLM create that well-defined prompt for you, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have Claude generate a prompt for me. So I would like for prompt to workflow in N8N, generate a newsletter automation. To start, it would just search the relevant news topics, relevant news on a specific topic, and automation, and a GPT API based agent will be written. And then I'm using Sonnet 4.5 for this task. A lot of what I do these days is Opus 4.5, but this is simple enough. I think Opus is a bit of overkill. Even Sonnet might be overkill for the task I'm asking it to do. And then also, I mean, I could probably do something like this. Let me do, well, yeah, I can do schedule trigger for now. You could have ChatGPT to do something like this because you're just asking for a prompt. And then let's see, let's go through what it came up with. Start with schedule trigger that runs weekly. Use the HTTP request node to search for recent news articles about AI automation using Google Search API or SERP API. Do the 10 most recent articles from the past week. Add a code node to extract and structure the search results into a clean format containing article title, URL, snippet description, publication date for each result. Use an OpenAI node with the following system prompt. Okay, cool, great. Okay. So the one thing as I'm looking at this that I don't like is this or search API or SERP API. I think we've done SERP API. I'm going to start with Google Search API, and then we will see from there. I might need to change that just because I need to get API permissions, and God only knows how I have to get those. I'm just going to take out this or. Because yeah, like having an or in there for instructions on something like this is not the greatest idea. Go one way or another, right? Because then you'll just confuse the N8N AI, because then it's gonna be like, oh, I don't know what to do. Like, should I be doing this or do that? And so boom. And then it is off and it is thinking, right? Again, this is going to take a few minutes probably to do. And while it's doing that, the good thing about this, when you're doing workflows, and you do prompt to workflow, is that it will essentially automatically credential any node that needs credentials if you already have that credential in there. I say credential a bunch of times, so that might be confusing. But essentially, there is the OpenAI API nodes, and that requires an OpenAI API key. Because I already have that credential in my account, it is going to automatically apply that credential to that node. Whereas if you get a template from somebody, so if you want, anytime you have one of these workflows, you can import them either from a URL or from a file, or you can download this one, right? If you import from a file, it is not going to do that automatically. It's going to make you set your credentials for everything. So that is one of the sort of nice things about this. And then here, while that's working, one other thing, and where can I get Google search API key?
Why we need the Google API key?
What's up?
Why we need the Google API key?
You need an API key for like anything, essentially. Anytime you are using an API service, you are almost always going to need an API key. So if I'm using OpenAI's API, they're going to want an API key. It's possible that there's an API that does not require an API key, but that is extremely rare, and you don't run into it much. An API key is essentially, that's how they can charge you. It's the way that you can log in. A lot of these services, as you'll see here from this, do have a freemium version of this, right? So the Google Search API and the SERP API get free, 100 searches a month, but then paid, you get $50 a month for 5,000 searches. A lot of these services have that, but you still need an API key to connect to it. The ones that don't do this, though, almost universally, the AI APIs charge you and will not give you any free amount. So it's like there is no free tier for OpenAI's API. There's no free tier for Claude's AI API. Yeah, you're right. So like I can see that the weather would provide an API key because it's right, because it's like a government. It's almost like if the public library had an API key for you, right? They would, or an API for you, they would allow you to get, but with no API key at all. Yeah, okay, I can see that. So yeah, like if there are services out there that are maybe like a public good or that they're being given away, then you potentially don't need an API key. But 99% of the time when you're working on these projects, you are going to need one. Okay, let's go and see custom search data format. Get a key. Yes. Okay. All right. Let's see how this goes. URL value. Query parameters, value, and automation, name. All right. The other good thing about this, I just circumvented, but should make sure to do, is it gives you these instructions on how to do it. So Google Custom Search API configure. You'll need to set up Google Custom Search API, obtain 2 credentials, get your API key from Google Cloud Console, create a custom search engine, and get the search engine ID, add these values. Okay, this, as I said, is already done, right? So it already has my OpenAI API. Google Cloud Console stuff. So I'm having an issue with my Google Cloud Console. I may want to just search. I thought this was going to be, let's see anyway. After workflow, add these values to workflow configuration node. And then I hate workflow configuration nodes. Okay, and then where do I get the search engine ID? Let's see, because, all right, well, let's switch over to Survey API. Let's switch from Google Search API to Survey. Also, and it did say that it is more popular with NAN. So we'll do that for now. Let's see. Do I already have an account? Or sign out with Google? Cool. All right. So API key obtained. And cool. Handled. All right. Here goes nothing. And that was nothing. I think that should be here. That's so weird because it is grabbing the API. Like you can see here that it has the API key. It has the API key here. So as I said, not always perfect right off the bat. Let's see what this is telling me. Oh, and so this is separate. So this is NAN ask, AI ask, where it does not use up a credit to do it. And so the error message you are encountering indicates that the API key being used is invalid since the API is being retrieved from the workflow configuration node using the expression. Let's first ensure that this expression correctly accesses the intended API key. But it seems that Serpent API key in the workflow. Okay, here are a few steps to verify API key. I get 100 free searches. It should work. Interested. You get a lot from SERP API. I might want to use that for more things. Okay, let's try to get back on track. Expression. Make sure the expression. Okay. Let's do that. Maybe. Can I regenerate my API key? I don't know. Way too many of my API keys are called test, though. It is the same API key each time. Okay. It is possible that there is something wrong with the way that it is set up. Okay. Let's try now. No, same problem. Okay. Well, this is getting to be problematic because the API key works. Yes, come up with a different suggestion. That's not the issue. I might need to switch back to Google, but then for that, I'm gonna need to spend a little bit of time tracking down the web browser ID and that API key. If you guys configured correctly, this and there are
was it the authorization section? It says none. Should you have like basic or anything selected?
Oh, let's see. No, I think
I found it easier to see if there's a predefined one in the credentials section first, and if not, you have to figure out if it's bearer or whatever it needs to send. It becomes a little bit of a hurdle.
Yeah, let me try one more thing, and then we will see. Oh, hold on, that's weird. Okay, here, I'm gonna tell it to do one more thing. Okay, nope. Okay, now what is it doing? Oh, it's still working. I didn't ask it to do that. Great. Oh, so it's another thing is if you click this execute and refine in here, then it uses the build system to do updates. This is not going great. Keeps on just telling me to update my API key, and then yeah, this authentication none. But I mean, it has. Oh, hold on. There is no API key in here. Yeah, okay, so that's not happening. Let me try this one more time. And then if not, I'll need to work on this and then just show everybody tomorrow what is going on. Okay, all right, one last try. Let's see what happens. Nope, okay, no, that's fine. Okay, well, I will try to work on this and then give an update tomorrow, and then we will continue with this on next Thursday. But I don't know. One of the things I do sometimes, and this is sort of defeats the purpose, is I'll take that API key and then create a quick vibe coded script to interact with it just to see if it's the API key. It keeps on telling me if the API key is invalid or I need to get it from there. But then I'm getting new API keys. So just to do a quick test to see if the API key works at all. Sorry that that wasn't more exciting and we get to see working workflow, but yeah. All right. Any other questions or input before we sign off today? Going once. Okay.
I have a question for you real quick. In terms of, actually profiting from these, I haven't looked at any of the videos in the school section. Are there any that you recommend that I take a look at between now and next coaching calls?
I mean, it really depends on what you're looking to do, because they cover multiple different tools, different AI use cases.
Using NHN and then
N8N, right? So there is an N8N section, right, that you can go to, and then from there, right, you can use N8N for a variety of different things, right? So there are N8N templates that have videos that go along with them a lot of times that you can grab and start working with. But yeah, I mean, if you're using N8N, I would go directly to that N8N section.
I think more so what I'm looking for is the strategic element of getting clients to want to pay for these solutions, because I've been building with NHN for the last year or two and with the different models. So building isn't the issue. It's more of the, do you want it and will you pay for it type of problems that I have.
I think, I don't know if we have, a lot of the stuff that I'm involved in is like, here, this is how you do something in N8N. I don't know how much we have about this is how you get a client to pay you for N8N, but I haven't really looked, because I know we have a lot on there, so there could be a whole section on working with clients, but I'm not familiar. What I would say is, I mean, so is it, we only have a little bit of time, is it getting clients, or is it getting clients to want these solutions?
So I think everybody's chasing to try and figure out how to monetize these AIs. So I pivoted to, AI powered, right? Like micro. So like what somebody was saying earlier about, doing something with NHN and then scaling that for like 10 other people and then duplicating that workflow. I'm kind of doing this. So I'm incorporating AI into those repeatable actions. For example, I created a process to do print on demand with Shopify because that requires lots of image generations, perfect for NHN. And then I use discernment for AI to write the copy, the SEO, the meta description, all those different sorts of things. So it's kind of a fusion of both of those together. And my client is willing to pay for that. And there's obviously more and more applications for it. So I can do all the building. It's just get that person to say, yes, like what are people excited about in this area? Like what's too hard for them? Like I was going to build an AI coach, but everybody can use ChatGPT for those things, but using NHN plus AI agents is still too hard for most people. Hence, they're willing to pay for it. That's the line of logic.
Right. If you're here tomorrow, let's continue this conversation.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Have a good one, everyone.
Bye.